Welcome to my wildlife year, week 8. I'm just starting off with a reminder of my crowdfunder I've got going at the moment, Graeme's Wildlife Project 2021, and it's been run to raise funds for community projects in my local area to encourage people of all ages to get involved with looking at what wildlife is in their local patch, specifically their gardens. I've already got 10 hedgehog tunnels and I'm hoping to raise enough funds to get 50 more, and also a couple of trail cams that I can loan out to people and they can see what's in their garden, and then maybe start getting involved with more wildlife related projects and stuff. So thanks to all those that have donated so far. I'm 13% of the way there. Hopefully by the time this comes around and it's my 50th birthday, I'll get a nice birthday present and to be able to buy some hedgehog tunnels for this project. So no pressure to donate, but if you want to, just go to my crowdfunder page, Graeme's Wildlife Project 2021. Cheers. Now let's get on with my wildlife year, week 8. It's Sunday morning and we've got something in the big trap, but I think, from the look of that nose, it's a bankful. We'll just look inside and see. And it is indeed a bankful. I haven't had one of them for 2 or 3 weeks, so they're obviously still coming in as well as the mice. So pop it in a wee tub and take it off for release. So, little bankful in here. It's a bit harder to tell with bankfuls from the top whether it's male or female. This might be a male. We'll soon see. Okay, I'm just about to release the bankful. I'm releasing it in a nice bit with plenty of cover and holes for it to find refuge in. Off it goes. Right, well, that was Soprano Pipistrelles. That's my first one that I've actually managed to video the recording of in that detector. I had one a few days ago. It's taken a few days to get one to hang around long enough to be able to record it. Whether it will turn back up again, we'll have to wait and see. I'm just going to go down this way and try and turn around because the light will be better, I think, if I turn round. And some down here. Well, I'm hoping I'm going to get more than just that few seconds of Soprano Pipistrelle action tonight, but at least I got something on camera. So we're getting into the bat season now. I was just out driving there. I was coming back home and I saw my first bat in the car as I was driving along. So they're getting a bit more active, and as the year goes on and as the spring comes along, we'll get more and more activity. So I'm sure you'll be seeing a lot more of bats on my wildlife year videos in the coming months. Just flown through again. Wasn't quick enough to get my camera on, unfortunately, to get much of it recorded, but they're obviously coming through here between foraging routes. Right. There's definitely some bat activity along here. During the summer this area is just alive with bats, so I'm not surprised to find at least one out and about around here this evening. I'm wondering whether it's down the river. We'll take a little wander down there and see if it's down there. River Tee right here is part of the Tweed catchment, so it eventually runs down into the Tweed, but it's quite a sizable river in its own right at this point, and has a good variety of wildlife both in it and along the edge of it. And I think I've come down here, and I don't think there's any bats down this bit. Again, under here, during the summer, the stone gets warmed up, so it attracts a lot of invertebrates, and therefore a lot of bats, usually Soprano Pipistrelles, occasionally the odd common pipistrelle, and the river down there. I don't think you'll be able to see it in this fading light. Yeah, just about there. The river has the Bentons flying on it, although it's usually flowing a bit slower than that during the summer. So I'll go back up and see if I can find any Soprano Pipistrelle up there, and if not, I'll just head home because it's getting near dinner time. Right, now, moth trap got knocked over, not blown over. I think a cat had went underneath the white plastic that I had it sitting on, but I have got at least one moth that I can see in there. So let's just see if there's any more. Yeah, there's one sitting there, which I'll try and get in this tub just now. I haven't thought about this properly, right, of how I'm going to do this. There it is, it's in there. So, put it over there. Right. See what else is in here, if anything. Nothing. No. It looks as if it's just the one, but one's better than none. And I'll just have a quick look under this rim. Nothing there. Right. Some moths can be quite active when you catch them, so I've got this little plug-in fridge that sits on my desk. For some reason I'm not allowed to use the fridge in the house, so this little fridge, which obviously most people would use for drinks and stuff like that, I use for putting in invertebrates to just calm them down so that I can get a good photo of them and be able to ID them. So now is a case of going through this book and trying to identify the moth by going through all these and trying to work out which one it is. Once you get your eye in, you can sometimes know straight away what the moth is because you've learned the moth. Other times you know which plates to have a look at. It just takes a bit of time in learning, and because I haven't done mothing for a few months, I'm going to probably have to start all over again. Right, well, I've worked my way through the book. As I say, I'm having to learn where to look all over again because it's been so long since I've done a bit of mothing. But looks like I found it. This here and this here. You can see there can be colour variations in this moth, so this one's actually a bit darker. Quite often it's not how dark it is or how light it is, it's the pattern that you're looking at. So this one here looks to me like a dotted border. So go from the plate under here, it tells me to go to page 156, which I have my finger in here, and we have got the species field characteristics in similar species, but the flight season, one generation, February to April. We're at the end, getting towards the end of April, February at the minute, so that fits. The life cycle over winters as a pupa, emerging. That and the larvae are around April to mid-June. So you've also, this book also tells you larval food plants, habitats, and status and distribution. Interestingly, it does tell you that now where are we? I did read it somewhere. Yes, that under the flight season, that males come to light, which this one did, but the females you have to find by trunk hunting in the morning. So that's the dotted border moth is my first one of 2021. Well, today we've got not one but two longworth traps that have been tripped. So is it going to be two wood mice, two bag voles, one of each? Maybe one's been tripped but not actually get anything in it, as can happen sometimes. Let's go and see. Right, let's see what's in these traps then. So first one is a wood mouse, quite calm for a wood mouse actually, and we'll see what sex he or she is. It's a female. The tip of the tail has actually dropped off, come off. Could have been trying to escape from a predator or such like and just drop off, similar to what happens with lizards, except with mammals the tail doesn't grow back at all. Right, another wood mouse this time, and this one's looking a bit pointy at the back, just above the just at the tip of the tail, so I think this might be a male. We'll see. Right, it is indeed a male, very obviously a male, and this one also has lost the tip of its tail, but also it's shown some damage further down its tail, so I think it's the lucky escape at least once. So as I said, tip of the tail being off is quite common, and actually is its teeth uneven? There, yes they are. I don't know whether it's chewing to one side or whether it's one of the teeth is broken at some point, but the teeth continually grow, so it should even up in time hopefully, unless it does gnaw for some reason. Lopsided, I was trying to think of the word there. So pop in a tub and we'll take both this male and the female for release. So here we have both the male and the female ready to go for release. Right, well, got the two mice ready for release. I'm going to try a double release at the same time. This can be a bit tricky, so I don't know whether it will work. Right, here we go. Both the way up there. Welcome to our recommendation section. It's not a review section as such, it's really just recommendation, and it's for these type of books here. Whittet Books have released quite a few years ago various books in the series. This one's in bats and this one's by hedgehogs, but they do all sorts of wildlife. Really worthwhile checking out online on second-hand bookshops and on second-hand retailers for these books. They're really great, they're very readable, they're in sort of small sections, not long chapters, so it's something you can dip in and out of. Really useful, and Basically, they're written by some of the top people in the field. Hedgehogs, Pat Morris. Dr. Pat Morris is just a hedgehog expert. He's written several books. Same goes for Phil Richardson. You know, they're really cracking reads. Very cheap, second hand. I've got one, I think it's a Mammal Detective one, is paperback, but most of the other ones I've got in the series have come in hardback, and I've picked up for just a few pounds, £3 or £4, even including postage and packing. So well worth checking out and, you know, adding to your library. Here's my selection of books from the British Natural History series, published by Whitted Books. So I've got owls, snakes and lizards, frogs and toads, whales, seals, deer, urban foxes, hedgehogs, squirrels, bats, badgers and Mammal Detective. And they're all cracking reads, all worthwhile getting. I've never paid more than £5 for any of these. Some I paid £1 or £2 less. Really worthwhile getting, as I've said, and I'm hoping to add to my library very shortly. A sure sign that spring is in the way is when our hens start laying again. And look what I found in the coop this morning. I haven't checked for a couple of days, hence there have been 2 of them. So that's really good news. So looking forward to more eggs, and hopefully the buffs and the buff Orpingtons in the run next door will start laying soon. They always lay a bit later than these guys. So I've just come to a local bit of woodland to see what wildlife I can find and see what I can come across. So come on, let's go for a wee wander. Right, I've just walked up this path here, and there's a path here that you can see going off. Now I'm pretty certain it's made by animals. Not just because it's not that well worn, but also because you can see it actually goes underneath these trees here. If it was humans who would go around it, I wouldn't make the path at all. So I'm going to follow it along and maybe set up a trail cam and see what turns up. So I've found a suitable place. It's not ideal, but it's going in this bit, and that's the track just running down there. So it's not an ideal position. I prefer to have one going more up the track, facing up the track, but it's not too bad. So we'll see tomorrow if anything's come up in it. Just noticed this bit of poo here. It's quite soft. I'm giving it a good sniff. It smells actually of vegetation, so I think it might, although it's not sort of classic deer, I think it might be a deer poo. So maybe it's just in front of where the camera is, so you never know, maybe we'll get a deer in the camera. Right, I've come across some pretty big deep holes here, and I can see it's up to my wrists that hole's going, and there's a couple of them, and there's a couple of smaller ones, and you can actually, I don't know whether you'll be able to see, but there is actually a trail going into that field, just in at that bit there. There's a couple of more bits of digging up there, not as extensive as this, although not amazingly deep, certainly deeper than you'd expect from squirrel or rabbit. So I'm pretty confident that this will be badger. So I'm not surprised, because I know there is obviously badgers in this area. So maybe we'll find some more evidence as we go around. Bit of a shame that I wasn't able to film it, but I've just managed to cross this rather fast moving burn without falling in, most importantly, and I've still got dry feet thanks to some decent waterproof shoes. One woodland mammal that's often under-recorded is the mole. and here's a molehill right here. They often turn up in woodland if there's suitable soil and it's full of invertebrates, especially worms. Then moles will turn up and there'll be molehills around. They can be quite difficult to see sometimes because if leaf litter's falling on top, you don't see the molehills, but occasionally like this one, it's quite easy to see, and if you actually start looking in woodland, I'm willing to bet that you'll actually start to see a lot more mole activity than you would have thought was there, and it might be a bit of a surprise. Right, this bit here has been sort of cleared, so just wondering what's done it. So I mentioned last week in the survey bag, which I've got over my shoulder, I often have a bit of laminated plastic, and it's just for doing stuff like this. So just take a few bits here and see if you can see anything. You don't want to do too much because, oh, that's a hair. Can you see that hair just in the middle? Yep. Right, now let's see if we can get a look at it now. Can you see it's actually got a wee bit dark tip and then white? Now, you might think, oh, that's badger, but there's a way of checking. How can I do this? If yeah, the hair is breaking really easily. Hair breaking really easily. Badgers doesn't, so that actually tells me that this was a deer that's made this. It's basically just cleared a bit of the ground and settled down to spend either the day or night there. Let's just spend some time there. There's actually, now I start to look, there's actually quite a lot of hairs in amongst all the leaf litter. So if you find some hairs, and you might think that the badger, because they've got more than one colour in them, they've got some white and some dark bits, give them a pull and see if they actually break really easily. If they do, that means it's actually deer. The only deer that I know of around here are roe deer, so that would be a roe deer hair, a roe deer that's been here, so I'll mark that as a roe deer record. Sometimes you've just got to give up following a track, like this one here. The track goes down, goes right the way down, crosses this wee burn here, and up that steep banking that side. So I'm not following that. I'll often follow tracks just as far as I can, but sometimes you just got to give up, and I'm giving up in this one. Right, I'm excited, which can only mean one of two things. One of three things. One is I've found a live mammal, which doesn't actually happen often. The other two options are I've found a bit of a dead animal, such as a skull, or I've found some poo, and it's the latter. Have a look at this. I said I hope to get some more signs of badgers in my walk. Well, there's some up there and over here and over there. There's some digging, but this digging here, look at this. That's poo, that's badger poo. So this is a latrine pit. Quite often badgers dig holes and just poo in it. So I'm really excited because it's in a pit. I know what it is, so there's no need for me to pick it up and give it a good sniff and break it apart to see what's inside it, because I'm able to identify it as badger. If it had just been a bit of some droppings on the top of the soil, I might have actually broken it apart just to give it a sniff, like I did earlier with that deer droppings. So see if we can actually find some more evidence of badger and find out where they actually are. Right, we burn here. It's a bit of a man-made ridge here. It's not great, however, it's not just man that's been using it. Can you see there? Look at those claws there, and then these pads here, those toe pads. That's a badger. So a badger's been going back and forth across this ridge at least once. I've followed the path, and here's another badger print, a bit better one this here. Not 100% all there, but you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 toes. The fifth toe doesn't always show, it's probably about here. And then little pad at the back, and then these big claws for digging. Always gets me excited seeing a badger print. Right, so here we have got deer print here and a badger print here. This is a perfect one with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 toes and the big toe at the back and some small claw marks there as well. So that is a perfect badger print. I'm really chuffed to get that one. Right, here's some more deer droppings. This is more sort of like what I'd expect from deer, small pellets, although you can see here that they can get a bit mushy as well, and I think that's what happened to that last lot. It all got a bit mushy and all just basically glumped together. Here's some more deer droppings, and you can see here is what I was talking about. These have all sort of like clumped together, but they sometimes do that, so deer droppings can be quite variable. This here's a squirrel trap. This area is home to both greys and reds, so there's actually trapping takes place. If it's a red, it's recorded and released. If it's a grey, then it's dispatched, because it's illegal to release greys once they've been captured. And also it hopefully helps the red squirrel population here in the south of Scotland. Right, I'm out with Dexter. Hello Dexter. Here he is. So I'm just back to where I put my camera trap out. I'm listening to Nick Baker's live on Instagram, and I'm just going to put out some dog food which Dexter's decided he doesn't like, so it doesn't go to waste. I'm going to put some out in front of the camera trap and hopefully it will attract something during the night. So let's wait and see what comes up in it. Right, well, Dexter and I have just put out the food there for the camera trap over there, and hopefully we'll get something interesting on it tomorrow. Well, sun's just gone down and birds are just singing their last, and I don't know whether I'll be able to hear. I think they've just stopped. There's a couple of tawny owls in the background. No, they've stopped. So just got the blackbirds and the other birds that are just getting ready for bed, sing the last of the evening before the light disappears. And then the night shift takes over. So I think we're in the handover period just now, so you can hear both. Right, well, I've come without my camera, so hopefully this is actually picking me up. I'm just going to take the camera trap in and see what we've got. Well, that's week 8 of my wildlife year over and done with. Hope you enjoyed that. As always, any comments or questions, just get in touch via any of the social media, either YouTube, Instagram, Twitter or Facebook, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And looking forward to week 9.